This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. So every year I try to do a different spin on mock drafts because I think there are so many different angles of the draft that don't get hit on. And a lot of mock drafts are done by one person sitting there making decisions for a whole team. But that's not really how these decisions are made, right? The decisions are usually made from a consensus of different people coming from different perspectives. So I brought in some friends of the show. I have Jack DUFFIN, I have COLB, I have myself here, and we are going to argue relentlessly over which pick should be taken where from different perspectives. You know that Jack really knows his stuff about the cap, and he's been doing stuff with scouting and everything else like that. And then me and COLB, you know, we are part of this agenda called We Want Somebody Big and Strong at 72. So we'll see what happens here as we try to collaborate together, work together to see what picks should be made here. Okay, now this is a question before we get to where we're at. In a real draft scenario, do you guys have packets of players or a grouping of players that you're like, hey, if this player gets past this point, we have to consider moving up?
For me, no. I don't really see a situation where you'd move up. And I think if they were to trade up, it's probably a guy that we in the outside the NFL world and not within the team expects to go in the first round, and they're sliding all the way down. Almost like when JOK was there. He wasn't expected to be a guy that was around the 50 pick. He was expected to be sort of that 25 to 35 range, and then he slid. So I think it has to be a massive slide, not like the players we're seeing here. Almost someone like a Josh Downs, someone like that we all think should be on well before the mid to late 50s, but they're there.
If you had a dream scenario of like, okay, it's pick 50 and one player's available, who's that player for you?
Be Josh Downs for me.
Josh Downs? COLB, what about you?
That 50 range?
Don't think about what's realistic. Just like, hey, if this dude's here, we got to go get him. Like, we got to do what we got to do to get him.
Honestly, like BJ Ojolari. Like if he was there, I would be like, you know what? Let's just get him and try to get him opposite Miles.
All right, so we're sitting here. We have Cody Mulch here. This is who they feel like is the best available. Let me know if you need me to go slower. Tyler Scott is still there. Zach Harrison, Jonathan Mingo, Henry Tuatuo.
Hawks, he's going to might go first round now.
Who?
Coming out today.
Mingo.
Same.
Yeah, there's always one wide receiver that kind of jumps up the board, and it's like always, I don't know. Kevin White scared the death out of me. You know what I mean? Like that year, Kevin White went from like nobody really knew him to 8th pick of the draft, and then we heard of Kevin White not again after he got drafted. It was just like, you know what? I'm staying away from the dude I haven't heard about that jumps up these boards. But I mean, like here at 74, it would be fine. A.T. Perry. I don't know if anybody's in the A.T. Perry fan club. These are the wide receivers that are available.
Now, see, Scott or Mingo makes sense. Scott or Mingo would make sense at 74. Just looking at the D tackles that are available, I wouldn't take anybody here at 74. I'd go to edge for me real quick, though.
Zach Harrison, Andre Carter, Tennessee, Byron Young, Yaya Diaby, KJ Henry.
I'm good. I'm good on all of these guys. At least right here.
Zach Harrison, somebody I would be interested kicking inside, but for a project, I'm not picking a project at 74. I mean, a project that I'm not sure even if he is willing to do that, right? And then Andre Carter, I just don't get why he's so high on all these boards.
I think he will slide. And if people were going to see him on the board there in the 4th round, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I remember watching him at the Senior Bowl. I thought Yaya was so much better than him. He is like an upside guy, you know. But you know, that's an interesting story developing there. Tyler Scott, 76.
Where are we at safety? What we got at safety real quick? Because
Jordan Battle's still there.
Jordan Battle's there. Okay, Jamie Robinson's gone.
Jamie
He's still
Robinson's
there.
He's there. He's
99. Okay, we can wait on that.
Can you?
Yeah, I'm eyeing up that as the second pick here, just because there's quite a few safeties there. Probably going to be all right.
All right, so who are we thinking here? We can look at running back too. I don't know if anybody's going to be moved here by any running backs available. I feel like personally that those back-to-back picks in the 4th round that they have, or the close to back-to-back picks, that's where you want to go running back. But here, I don't see a big difference in what you can get here versus there.
I feel like we're taking a receiver.
Yeah, I'd certainly agree with that.
All right, so it's Tyler Scott, Jonathan Mingo. It feels like it's what it's coming down to.
I'd lean towards Tyler Scott of the two. I just think you've got probably a safer prospect there for what they're looking for. But quite frankly, I think with all three of them, you're going to get a good player. It's just Rice is one I'd rule out just because of the age. Comes in at over 23 week 1 of the season. Whereas at least Mingo's 22.4 week 1 and Tyler Scott's 21.9.
I would make the argument for Jonathan Mingo is if you look at the one thing this wide receiving room lacks, it is size. Like even Elijah Moore they've just brought in, he's like 5'9". They don't have much size there. So is that a consideration for anybody when we're looking at this room?
For me, it's more so just like the skill set and what they're bringing to the field. I mean, I get the argument for size, but you do have Amari Cooper. DPJ is on the bigger side. I mean, he's not the biggest wide receiver in the world, but he's on the bigger side. They need speed more than anything. And I'm not saying Jonathan Mingo's slow. He's definitely not slow. He's actually very fast for as big as he is. But Tyler Scott,
he can play fast. He plays that fast style. Like he might not be the fastest dude in 40, but that he can accelerate in a way to get open downfield. Is what.
Yeah, and I'm Tyler Scott. To me, I'm picking Scott just because I feel like he's going to be the more realistic option. Like in real life, Mingo's not going to be there at 74. I don't think. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be there. So I would just take Tyler Scott just because I feel like he's actually somebody they're going to be able to actually take.
For this exercise, though, if they're there, they're there. So even if you feel like it's more realistic that this guy would be there, if you think this guy is more valuable, you're kind of inclined to go the other way. But is that what you think? Would you rather have Tyler Scott than Jonathan Mingo, or are you going with Tyler Scott because you feel like that's more realistic? Because we're not really trying to predict anything.
If you're asking my preference, Mingo.
Let's go and get Mingo then. I wish Mingo was gone and Marvin Mims was still here, and that would be my pick.
Same.
God, Marvin Mims is here.
Marvin Mims would have been my pick. And that would have been my pick. But he's not here.
You talk about play styles mattering. I'm like, yes. Like he can go get a 50-50 ball. I seen it. Like, all right, we got Mingo there.
And then I think we're eyeing up for safety.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's keep our eye on safety here. Jordan Battle hasn't gone yet. Well, he just went off the board and we're close to picking. I think we're good on trades here because we kind of want to get Jamie Robinson here.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah. Take him.
They didn't draft a single player that came for a visit last year. The only one they added was Weston as an undrafted free agent. So it'd definitely be a change of plan. But
Jamie Robinson, Green Bay think they slick with this trade. Come on now. All right.
These trade offers suck, by the way. Am I the only one who feels like that? These trade offers
I've never, with the robotic like trade offers, have gotten like one. I'm like, yeah, that's a conflicting one. They're either like they break the draft because they make it too easy, or they're really like bad trades. All right, so we got Yaya here. I like Yaya as an edge player. Now, I'm not sure where he's going to sit at on most people's boards. I've seen him as far back as like 5th or 6th round. I've also seen him as early as like the 4th round, as we're seeing here. We already took a wide receiver, but let's look at the whole board here. You got Luke Whippler available. Garrett Williams.
Herbig is there.
Herbig is there at edge.
Blake Freeland is someone I could certainly see them being interested in. A younger prospect, tackle that, hey, in 2 years' time, the entire O-line could all be gone. All 5 starters that they've got this year. Batonio could retire and everyone else could be replaced. So I think they certainly need to start targeting people
That
there.
is something to consider because, like, the offensive line, it's like almost it's so expensive at this point that it doesn't feel like it's sustainable. They're probably going to need to look at some options there. But you like Blake Freeland there. What grade did you have him as, like, for round? What round grade would you give him?
So he's due to go. Predicted is in the sort of late third. So a nice value here.
Nice value here.
Then potentially Cole Brooks, I think, is someone who'll be high on their board, the D tackle. Incredible pass rushing numbers. That they've been seen to go and jump on players like that. Can play a bit of edge, can play a bit DT, so a bit of flexibility always helps.
I liked him a lot at the Senior Bowl, Carl Brooks. Now they're going to move him inside the 3-tech, right? Because I've seen different places list him at like edge or defensive lineman because they did play edge at Bowling Green. But he played
everywhere at Bowling Green.
He was their best player.
He was a linebacker at certain times. Like he did everything for them.
Yeah. And whenever you're looking like somebody's going to have to play a little bit bigger in the next level, my big thing is like feet. He has really good feet. So I feel like he can pick up weight and be fine. I like Carl Brooks. I mean, honestly, I like a lot of the options you have here. I wouldn't be upset with Yaya. I wouldn't be upset with Carl Brooks. I wouldn't be upset going Blake Freeland here. You know, so are we strongly feeling it in one direction or the other?
I would say
I have a question.
Yaya Diaby, because he's going to be 24.
Okay, so
I have a question. I have a question for Jet. When you're talking about defensive tackles, and honestly, I would probably lean Carl Brooks here, but I know that the Browns at least kind of care about how players test athletically. Moro Ojamo is going to be there later. If we pass on, so say we pass on Carl Brooks now to try to take Blake Freeland or somebody else, would you be okay with taking Moro later, or do you feel so strongly about Carl that we should just take him now and then just see what happens?
I love me some Moro Ojamo. 22.1 come week 1 of the season, over a 9 on the Athletic, as you mentioned. He'd be a great prospect to grab.
So Carl Brooks. We pick again at 126. Would you say Blake Freeland would be the best player on the board right now?
I would argue, yeah. I think tackle, he's probably the last one that I feel good has a future starting at tackle. The rest might move inside. You're taking projects and you're taking James Hudson sort of dart throws and after that, and it's like some guys will work out, but he's sort of the last one for me in the list where I'm thinking, this guy, worst case scenario, is a starting right tackle in 2 years' time, which is perfectly fine. He's your future beyond Conklin. And hey, if Conklin goes down in the next 2 years, you've got someone.
All right, I think we got to turn the card in for Freeland, especially if we feel like there's somebody we can get at 126 that we would feel just as good about at that position. I think there's no reason not to go best player here then.
Carl Brooks still there?
That's what I'm trying to see. Carl Brooks is still there. Oh, we got both of our options here.
There it is.
We pick again at 140. So Carl Brooks?
Yeah, we're taking Carl Brooks now.
Yeah, I think the value is there too now.
Well, they think so too. They gave us an A+ for that pick. And
Israel's gone. Okay.
So
is that the running back?
Still here? Yeah, running back.
Because he's due to be the youngest player expected to be drafted in the entire draft class. He's first, and then Tulipoto is due to be the second youngest player in the entire class.
Wow.
Based on who gets picked, there's probably younger guys that will go undrafted.
Okay, so if Dorian Williams is there, we taking him. Just take him now.
There's Kenny McIntosh. I don't know how you feel about him. Deuce Vaughn, who Twitter would love. Mohammed Ibrahim.
Keaton Mitchell.
I think it's Keaton Mitchell, but can you wait on it?
I will wait on. Hey, go to edge real quick because we got to get an edge in here somewhere.
KJ.
Y'all still there?
If we're trying to think about this from Andrew Berry's perspective, I don't think he goes there until he's at like 190. But I don't know, man. 142, you could justify an older player there. They've done it before.
He's a really good athlete though. Like at this point in the draft, like you might just bet on. Just
I
him
would
being
not be
a crazy
opposed
athlete.
to it. Morrow is still there, defensive lineman. So last chance to pick from this pack of players, though, because after that, most of these guys are gonna be gone. So who are we feeling of the guys available? And then how does also who we've already drafted a tackle, does that really affect what we're gonna do from 140 to 229 as far as positions go?
Yeah, so the interest is probably on that, a running back, an edge, and then maybe with one of these later two picks, you take a throw at a tackle guard prospect.
There is a gap here from our next pick, so we have about 50 picks in between.
I guess my question is, who's more likely to be there at 190? Yaya? I guess I guess you could kind of maybe
I would argue
into Ojimo. You could talk me into Ojimo here, but you're maybe trying to see if he's a little bit more versatile on the line than maybe you think. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Yaya
dropped. Many guards dropped. Interior line.
Guards. Let's go, yeah.
No one there I really like.
You could talk me into Anthony Bradford later, but not here.
I would make the argument that at edge, I think Yaya is a decent bet at edge for somebody who could turn out to be a solid player for you for a couple of years. Versus, I think at running back, I think the chance at 190 that we can land on somebody who's all right, or even just find somebody there. That's, again, because we're not looking like for a Nick Chubb replacement at this point. We're looking for somebody who's just there to compete, maybe have a role, maybe not, depending on what they do. Probably barely even dressing for games if they're going to be playing running back, because they're going to be so buried on the depth chart.
Yeah, I don't like the age for Diaby, but I think the value's there. So I think you take that. If that's the way the ball was sat.
Hold on before you draft. Hold on. Let me just throw something out here real quick.
All right. Throw it out.
Do we think about taking a tight end here? Do we think about taking a tight end here?
Here's the tight end.
Davis Allen.
Listen, I feel like I'm just gonna say Zach. I don't want to pronounce his last name, but I just want to. I'm looking at Zach here. I feel like he tested really well at the combine. I feel like he like tested like crazy at the combine, but he's older. I think he's older though, and I think that's the issue.
Yeah, so perfect. He has the highest ever tight end score at the combine, according to Relative Athletic Score, due to be 24.3 week one of the season, which is older, but it's one there that, yeah, you've got him, you've got Davis Allen. I think they're two fantastic prospects in terms of talent. You could certainly look to.
What do you think the need is more severe at, if we're at kind of a match with value? Do you think the need in the tight end room is similar to the edge room? Because I would make the argument that I think you need to add some bodies to that edge room more than you need the tight ends.
Edge gets paid more than tight end. So if they both turn out to be great players, you get a 20 million a year, well, 20 million plus a year edge, and you get 10, 12 million a year tight end. So I think if you like both, get the edge.
What do you think?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So who's here at 190? Cameron Mitchell, Devontae. I always struggle with his name, but Wicks is here. Yasir Abdullah.
Ooh, Abdullah. Ooh, Marte Map. Ooh,
Davis
this
Allen.
was
Davis
The
Allen's
tight
here.
end or the running back. One of them. I like both of them.
Which one? What, Abdullah?
Keaton Mitchell.
Keaton Mitchell. And then
ooh.
Davis Allen. Is anybody else?
Certainly two I'm leaning towards.
What do you think?
Go to all real quick, just see if there's anybody that I think they might just be like, oh, he's still here. Let's take him.
All right, so top.
I think they might like Abdullah, but I don't think they'll like him more than other guys that are available. I personally like Marseille Mappel a lot, but I don't know if they take him. And we already took Dorian Williams, so there's no reason to really take a linebacker. Yeah, man, it's looking like it's either going to be Keaton Mitchell or a tight end.
Keaton Mitchell, and I feel like we're going to be closing in on Davis Allen here. I think both are fine picks.
I like Britton Strange, but I think I would take Allen.
I'm leaning towards Allen here.
Yeah, Allen's the only tight end prospect with an ideal age and athletic score for them. So certainly someone they're going to be a fan of.
A tiebreaker between the running back and the tight end this late. I have to go tight end, right?
You got to go tight end.
Yeah.
Who's on the full board?
Just go to all and let's see what we got.
Anthony Bradford.
Bradford.
Let's go Bradford here.
Another ideal age and athletic score.
A+.
He's been rising up boards, so don't be surprised if you end up seeing him go sort of 5th, 6th round. The last sort of couple of weeks, he's been shooting up big boards.
So that's mock draft number 1. We got Jonathan Mingo, Jamie Robinson, Blake Freeland, Carl Brooks, Dorian Williams, Yaya Diaby, Davis Allen, and Anthony Bradford. How we feel about that haul?
Hey, let them do that this weekend, and we'll all be happy.
That's a pretty good haul, man. Don't think Mingo's gonna be there, but if he is, that's a pretty good draft.
Let's see if we can beat it with Pro Football Focus. If Bijan goes to 30 to the Eagles, and they get like a Jackson Smith and Jigba, like, you know, just cancel the season. You know what I mean?
Okay, we got something interesting here.
It's called Marvin Mims.
Yeah.
Mingo's here. Marvin Mims is here.
Look, this is not interesting.
Tyler Scott is also here.
This is very fortunate for me.
Yeah, just go ahead and take Marvin.
Nobody want to make an argument for Nathaniel Dell?
No.
You sure? 45. He's almost 45. But like 45. Like that's I am not as I don't even get it.
I think Take's gonna be good though. I think Take's gonna be good, but I would not take him this high. Like no.
I just a dude that old playing in like the AAC. I worry about how much that production was kind of like smoke screen. In like one good year of production too. I don't know. All the red flags come up with him. But who knows what Marvin Mills might end up being terrible. But I'm taking Marvin Mills. I'm taking the chance. Here, all right. So we're
let's see what we got.
We get
Carl Brooks. Did Carl Brooks go?
Carl Brooks looks like he's gone.
I feel like he's gone.
They have him at edge though, right? On this.
No, I think that they have him on D line. Yeah, he's gone.
He gone. Brooks. Yeah, he gone.
Yeah, PFF really like him. So
PFF loves him. You got Dorian Williams here.
Jamie Robinson.
Let's see if he's there.
Jamie Robinson. He's right below.
Oh, yeah, he's right there. Yeah, Jamie.
He's right below.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that pick makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you go Jamie here.
I'll go straight to the bank with that.
Let's see what else we got.
Well, Blake Freeland just went.
That's unfortunate. Ojimo went too.
Still there. Dorian's still here. Roshan's
Take Dorian.
here. Think Dorian?
Yeah, I like Dorian.
Yeah, take Dorian.
Now, I promise you, we're going to have a lot better running back options in the 4th round this time.
Hold on. Braden Daniels.
Braden Daniels, tackle prospect out of Utah. How you feel about him, Jack?
Yeah, no, he's a player that comes in well. They're just sort of on the consensus big board, comes in the 5th round. 23.1 week 1, good athletic score. There's a few of them there. You've got like him, Nick Saldiveri. They don't know really whether they're going to be tackles or guards. And it's one that I'm happy taking that guy that you just work it out. And if he pushes inside and he replaces Teller next season, you've got value still. So it's certainly one way you can play the game. Whereas you take a Voorhees who's much older, he's only going to be a guard.
Are we feeling strongly on somebody here?
I mean, it's too early to take a running back. Let me see the tight ends real quick.
It's Davis Allen.
If there's anybody, it's too early to take either of those.
And this is the best players available.
We already took a safety. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I guess.
Is Ojimo gone?
He is gone.
Okay. Do you like Braden Daniels?
I do like Braden Daniels, and it's looking like he's the best option here at the moment.
I think that's the pick to go for.
Take him. All right, Cole, but if this doesn't work out, you're getting fired. All right, 140, 142 here. You have back-to-back picks. And let's see if our running back luck is any better. Is Israel's here? Is he? And y'all like him? Real fast? Not a lot of production.
I do like him. I do like him. Athletically, I like him.
I like him athletically. It's just like, I get real nervous about running backs that don't have production in college. Like, I don't know if one's ever worked out. Like, that's had very little production in college. And he wasn't the most productive guy. Didn't play that much, but really wasn't the most productive guy coming out there.
The youngest player in the draft. Let's take him.
Yeah, we got to stick to the brand.
We can fix him. I can fix him.
That's true. Am I judging everything I know about him when he was a teenager? Then yeah, I can fix that.
I'll make the case there, potentially Andrew Voorhees.
What's the case?
He's slightly older, but an incredibly promising guard prospect. They need to replace Teller in a year's time. Go and get someone now. And hopefully in a year's time, hey, that's then 14 mil you're going to save. So
Voorhees is there. Let's also see what else is there. But they just messing with me having Oluwatimi still available. I see no reason not. Like, unless we want to go Davis Allen here, tight end.
Our next pick's 190?
Yeah, our next pick's 190.
Man, I think you take. I mean, if Voorhees has fell this much, like where's he ranked on here? He's 126.
126.
He's not gonna last much longer.
He's not gonna get to 190.
No, he's not gonna get to 190. So I would probably take. I would take Voorhees now.
Yeah, if we're gonna take a lineman, like guard's a pretty good bet because Joe Bitonio is getting old. He was drafted in 2014, so. That's wild that's old now. Like, I was talking about how old Odell Beckham is. I was like, wow, the 2014 draft is kind of like they washed now. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, let's see what we got here.
Stetson Bennett, baby, let's go. Hey, this is the same round Tom was picked in. Don't sleep.
I could see them eyeing up Tavai. Really good pass rushing numbers there.
See here.
It's going to be something that jumps up on their radar.
12 sacks last year for San Diego State. 10 sacks the year before. played 13 games, 736 defensive snaps, pass rush, run defense snaps, 46 hurries.
46 hurries is a lot, bro. That's a lot.
That's work. He was playing interior at San Diego State.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm close to sold on that. Let's see what else is here. Yeah, I mean, why not, right? 190, not? There's nothing stopping us unless anybody wants to pound the table for Stetson Bennett.
I know Jordan Elliott, Tommy Togiai ain't stopping us taking a defensive tackle.
The Jordan Elliott and Tommy Togiai have stopped a percentage of 0 things in their NFL career, let alone somebody else getting drafted. Any of them are here.
Center prospect, not for the draft, but for UDFA, is just there. Brett Nielsen, is it? Brett Nielsen is someone I could see them taking and really targeting as a UDFA. You could bring him in. He's like 25, but they'll sign older UDFAs, and he could easily give Nick Harris, with only 1 year left, to run for his money. So keep an eye on that just for post draft.
Let me sell you on something.
All right, sell me on
Malik Cunningham. We gonna take him in the 7th round. Not to be a quarterback, just to be an offensive weapon.
I can dig that.
Is he willing to do it?
He's already said he's willing to do it.
Why not? Then? You know what I mean? Why not? It'll make the preseason more fun. Yeah. Something to do here.
He might be the second coming to Josh Cribbs. You don't know.
All right, so Marvin Mims, Jamie Robinson, Dorian Williams, Braden Daniels, Israel. I'm gonna just go Izzy there. Andrew, Jonah, and then Malik Cunningham here. What are our thoughts on this draft? How do we feel like we did as a team?
You got Marvin Mims, so of course it's good.
Oh yeah,
I mean, obviously we're happy about that. I feel like
we could have drafted 5 kickers after this, and I would have still been cool with it. Like,
I feel like our first draft, I feel like it was better overall, but Marvin Mims is just that's my wide receiver.
I feel like that draft has a good chance of having the most players out of it getting to. Not necessarily a second contract with the Browns, but second contract status in the NFL. This draft, I feel like we have the biggest chance of really hitting on somebody where, sure, a couple of these guys might not work out. Israel is a good example of like, hey, he has all the traits. If we get that going, though, that's going to look like something special. And he's super young. Marvin Mims is somebody who's like, the size is a little bit of a concern. The route tree is a little bit of a concern, but the body control and the ability to just catch the football, get open, that is not. And I think he's going to be a tremendous player, and he's going to play much bigger than his body is in the NFL. And then Malik Cunningham, right? That could end up being like a great pick. We took more chances at guys who would be a little bit more boom and bust. What philosophy do you think the Browns should be going into this draft with, given that they don't pick till 74? They have the number of picks that they do have. So they have a lot of shots in the back end of this draft. Do you think they should go for, hey, we know that this guy is going to be what we expect more often, or we're going to take a chance on this dude being something better than what we anticipate?
I think you got to take a chance. Like when you don't pick until the 3rd round, I feel like the kind of players that you're looking for is like, especially when you say like he's gonna be what we expect. Like, what do you really expect when you're picking in the 3rd round? You know what I mean? Like, you can't really expect them to be contributors. So I think you have to just take the guys that have upside, like guys who are great athletes, maybe didn't produce as much as you like, but they're just like young, great athletes. Gervon Dexter is the guy that I think exemplifies that the most. Was just like, he ain't produced that much, but do you see what he looks like? Like, do you see, like,
if Robert Nkandishi was in this draft, the Browns would be like, hey man, we got to try it. But if there is an argument, yeah. I guess a better way to phrase this question is, knowing that you don't have a lot of like premium picks in the next coming years, and you know that you're going to have to get younger and more and some talented players to replace them, do you think the better strategy is to take these risky guys who could or could not turn out, where you could end up with the guy who, you know, could fill a real role for you on the team, but you also could end up with the guy who's not NFL caliber. And then there's a chance of you having a bunch of like non-NFL caliber players or guys who are like, basically like you took the gamble on Anthony Schwartz. Didn't pan out. Now you don't really have you have a guy on the roster who there's not really a role for, but is filling up a spot. And I guess the question is, do you want to take guys who you feel like are safer bets that, hey, I know that this dude's going to be able to play in the NFL and not being an embarrassment, versus somebody else who's like, it could go either way with him. You know what I mean? Like that. I guess that's a better way to phrase what I was trying to ask.
I think it depends on the different picks. If I'm starting from the bottom up, those last two picks swing because 6th and 7th rounder with the way this roster is might not make the team. And I'm perfectly fine with that. If they draft guys and they're not good enough to make the final 53, that's cool. Because there is so much talent on this team when we've got guys like Isaiah Thomas battling for a roster spot. We've got D'Anthony Bell battling for a roster spot. There is a really, really good floor in this team now. With those sort of that 4th to 5th round, I think you're ideally looking for contributors there. They don't need to set the world on fire. They might never start without injuries and stuff. But if they're just solid depth pieces for 4 years, I'm cool with that. And then with the first two, I think you ideally want to have a route where they're starting in a year or two's time. And I think Jamie Robinson's the perfect example. Year one, just be a third safety. You can play on dime. You're not even really going to play nickel. You won't play base. But Delpit's unlikely to get re-signed because, hey, they've paid that money to Thornhill. They're going to pay the corners. We're now going to replace Robinson, step up. You're going to start in a year's time. And that's kind of the goal. And then with Marvin Mims, hey, there's no deal done yet with DPJ. They might do that. They might decide, actually, we don't want to pay him 10 to 12 million. And signing someone like Marvin Mims goes, actually, we've got a future here where we can move on from Mims. A year after that, Cooper's done. We can sort of plan a route forward. So I think key positional value there, wide receiver safety, makes an awful lot of sense.
And then just the final question is, how do you feel like this exercise changed how you would approach doing the mock draft? So like having other people there to provide live input and make different arguments for different spots. How do you feel like that kind of affected the process versus when we're kind of just doing this on our own?
I mean, honestly, I feel like we were all on the same page for the most part. Like, I feel like we'd see certain guys and we'd be like, yep, that's the guy. But I do think it's important to have different perspectives and just different voices, because people may not see players the exact same way, or they might not see the value in certain positions the exact same way. Like, obviously, there are people who think running backs don't matter. There are people who think that running backs are an extremely valuable part of your football team, and you need to have.
I'll give you a perfect example, right? I've done these mocks for like 3. I don't think I've taken a single linebacker, like unless it was completely under duress, where it was like, all right, I guess I got to take this dude here, right? Because he's just dropped so far in value. But this is the first mock where I'm like, okay, it makes sense. You got to go Dorian Williams here, because I'm not a big fan of really prioritizing the position too much, but that might be to the detriment of the team, because maybe you do need a linebacker. Maybe just one body is what you need, right? Or even like a tackle. I really didn't consider like a tackle before Jack started bringing up like, hey, you might want to bring up tackle for this reason and that reason. And then just different prospects, because we all are different people. We all have our eyes on different guys, So while I might not have an idea who Jonah Tavai is, Jack does, right? Like, I think that also matters. Is like, okay, they have a better look at this, so maybe there's a better chance of us extracting good value out of these picks. How do you feel about these drafts? I think we already kind of answered that, but any other thoughts about this?
Feel a lot better about Marvin Mims, because I thought that was a bit of a fringe topic of being hey, I'm on the Marvin Mims train, but it's good to be alongside two others that were like, yeah, let's go get Marvin Mims.
I keep getting unfortunate that all these guys I end up pushing for end up being like from Oklahoma. Like, so like it keeps happening.
Because we alienated that fan base.
Yeah. It's like half of the people who went up on this side of it, they're happy for me. They're happy, but they're like also mad. They're like, oh, you were hating on Baker. Now you want Perion. No, you want Marvin. It's like, I'm sorry. I saw this dude eat with John David Booty throwing him General Booty throwing him the ball. Like, I think that's very impressive. You know what I mean? Like, but then like it's just funny. Like every time, so people think I'm like this huge Oklahoma fan. It's like, I promise you, it's just a 2-year coincidence. Where
Yeah, but no, seriously though, like Marvin Mims, no matter what, like if he is there at 74, just run the court, just take him. Don't even think about it.
For people who aren't familiar, well, like I guess we'll go through, because I guess since this isn't the most popular thing, what is your favorite thing about him that he possesses as a prospect?
My thing is that he is a field stretcher. Like he is a threat vertically, and he can go get, like, it's not just him being fast. It's really not even just like his on-field speed. He can go get the football. Like he will go get it.
He has 3-dimensional verticality is what I like to call it. Where it's like he can be long going north and south, and he can get you long going up and down, right? He is 3-dimensional. He can jump, catch, in the body control, I think, is some of the most impressive stuff from him. And he's gotten good separation. Now, that Oklahoma, it's kind of hard to judge off of that because a lot of dudes be getting separation in the Big 12, especially in that Oklahoma offense. Even though it's not the same without Lincoln Riley there, he does still have tape while he was there with Lincoln. Yeah, I like him a lot. I would have loved to see what he would have looked like if Caleb Williams was still at Oklahoma, because those two together, I mean, that could have been crazy. But
he wouldn't be there. He wouldn't be there at 74 if Caleb Williams was still.
But I don't know if I would have paid attention to him as much if General Booty wasn't out here throwing him all the bad passes, though. Like, that's what General Booty was a savior for. I didn't know the body control was so good for him until you saw him this year go like backwards, keeping the foot in. Like, some of the best body control I've seen in his class, it came from Marvin Mims, and it came exclusively because he got terrible quarterback play from at Oklahoma this year. But that's the mock draft war room simulator. We were pretty, for something called a war room, we were pretty amicable in our agreements and disagreements about certain things and positions. We'll see how this shakes out to what happens in the draft. And then also, how do these players do? Maybe in 3 years we come back and reevaluate. Are we terrible at our jobs or not? But that's going to be it for us here. I want to thank you for watching. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.